Hi guys, welcome back to our podcast. I'm Elise.
And I'm Dom.
It's been a hot second because we pre-recorded some episodes last time because Dom has been away. She's finally back.
I was in Greece for 14 days, 2 weeks. I was there with my boyfriend, family. I had a great time. I did not want to come back.
You were gone for a long time.
I was gone for 2 weeks. Got a nice tan. Enjoyed. Honestly, I'll say if you ever want to go to Greece, go end of September. Because you miss the crowds. You miss all the Americans. You miss like big families. Like it was so peaceful, so wholesome. It was great. I had a lovely time.
I'm really jealous. I'm like pale as a ghost.
And I came home and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna moisturize every single day, baby oil, so this tan does never leave my body.
Well, today we are talking about fall mindsets, just coming into a new season, getting into healthy habits, budgeting, some, I guess, like mindsets that we have recently discovered that we're sort of thinking that's important. But we always start each episode with our peak and pit. What's your peak and pit?
I'll definitely say my peak is the fact that I just went on vacation. I think you specifically know, leading up to the trip, I was so stressed out because I didn't even know if I was going to go. I booked my flight literally 5 days before I was anticipating to leave. I left September 21st. I bought my ticket, I think, on the 17th because it was all just dependent on the time frame that I had for my full-time job. So if I got the job and I could start when I come back from vacation, but honestly, everything worked out. So I'm just like still on a high from vacation, but I came home and it didn't feel like, you know, when you come home from vacation and you feel so abrupt getting back into your space and like a routine. Like I came home on the Thursday night. I was able to sleep the whole flight. So my sleep kind of caught up naturally. And like Friday, I was like, okay, I'm going to go work out. Like, I wanted to just, like, get back. Yeah,
Literally the day she gets back Thursday night. Friday, I'm like, what are you doing today? Just, like, unpacking, hanging out? She's like, no, I'm going to Fred again tonight. I'm like, you just got back. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, so I bought the tickets for Fred again when they came out, which was, like, months ago. And it just so happened to be October 4th. But I went on, like, a long walk that morning, went to Pilates. But then I will say I woke up Saturday and I was like, okay, I'm still jet-lagged. But I felt like this trip was an easy, like, seamless transition back into my normal life. And then I started my full-time job on Monday. So it was cool. I got back Thursday, did nothing Friday, relaxed Saturday, Sunday, and then full-time job corporate baddie on the Monday.
Yeah, booked and busy.
Booked and busy. So that's definitely my peak.
What's your pit?
Pit, I would say I need to just get over my fear of posting online.
Yeah.
Like, I am determined, like, mark my words on this podcast right now, minute 1:30. I'm determined to grow on social media. And I think, I think it'll help us tremendously with House of Movement. We've discussed this, growing our own personal brand. But B, I feel like I have so much creative energy inside of me. And TikTok and Instagram has always been an outlet that I'm super passionate about, and I love being on it. And I see other people, even friends, I'm like, I could be doing this. I 100% can do it. It's just getting over that fear. Talking on TikTok, I'll ramble, I'll get those 2 million views, but talking on Instagram and posting on Instagram for me, I feel like is so different, and I just need to overcome that fear. And who cares, just post.
I honestly felt like that too, and then I set like a goal for myself to post every day in October, and I've been doing good so far. And initially I was like, oh, but I can't talk on Instagram. I posted 2 videos of me talking and I'm like, I'm going to hop on stories. We met with, my boyfriend's like our business consultant.
We're like, what the fuck do we do next? And he was like, this is what you do, ladies.
He made like a whole pitch deck for us. We met at Starbucks and we were all like, okay, so you need to do this and this. And they were like, you need to grow your personal brand. So like start posting. So we sat down. I helped Dawn plan her content, plan my own, and we're popping off.
Yeah, that was our biggest consensus when we spoke on Saturday about like House of Movement next steps. Where do we see ourselves 12 to 24 months? It was our personal brand, because to be honest, as kind of stupid it is to say out loud, why are you going to listen to a podcast? Or at least the way I view it is, why am I going to listen to a podcast if the people who are talking don't have a social media presence? Because that's the only way that's going to connect you to the person talking, and I think it's going to make it a little bit more personal.
I also feel like because I'm like constantly creating content for these brands, it
wasn't
like a big transition to do it for myself, but like from somebody who like doesn't create content, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hold your hand and I'm gonna help you.
And she texts me in the morning, she's like, you're gonna film that video, right? And I'm like, I swear I'm on it. 6 p.m. I'm like,
why isn't it posted?
No, but today I posted a video. So when this launches, I posted a cooking video today. So I actually have a fitness account and a cooking account that I made during COVID, which was like my little spam.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why I just didn't use my 3 brain cells to just merge them into my personal account, because I genuinely love fitness and I love to cook. So today I posted a cooking account on my personal. And
that's why I said, I'm like, you can just repurpose everything that you've been posting over to this account. And tonight I was like, okay, we're filming the podcast at 8, so you're gonna get here at 6, and you're gonna film 5 videos while I'm making dinner.
Yeah, and then we filmed ourselves making dinner, and then we filmed the behind the scenes. We say work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, everything is content.
Yeah.
My peak, I actually met a girl at one of our events, at our podcast launch event. This is proof that House of Movement works. And
self-promo.
And I went for dinner with her, and I went to a workout with her. She's good vibes. So
shout out to what's her name? Olivia. Bomb.
And then Pitt, I'm like still annoyed about this. My mom, there's a rescue, like a dog rescue in King City. It's called Dog Tales.
It's right by my house.
Oh, is it?
It's literally right by my house.
It's like a bougie one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's massive. And it's a horse and dog sanctuary and cats.
Yeah.
And the couple is a Canadian. This is from what I've heard, but they, I think, poured like $45 million into this animal sanctuary. And they're just like really wealthy Canadian actors.
Yeah.
It's like a very bougie rescue, but they rescue animals from Mexico, Texas, China, Japan. Yeah. No, it's gorgeous.
Well, my mom's job, side hobby, just passion project, is rescuing dogs from the Caribbean and then finding homes for them. So basically she'll go to the Caribbean,
vacation,
get a pack of dogs, take 3 puppies and rehome them here. So like my dog at home is from the Caribbean, and my boyfriend's he has allergies, so we would need one that's like hypoallergenic. And she sent him like this golden doodle puppy that like had parvovirus, so he couldn't be in the rescue, so he needed basically like a foster home and then like potential for adoption. And we sent like such a good email being like, my dog had parvo and like he's good now,
and like I revived him.
And I revived him, and I already do rescue on the side, aka my mom.
Yeah.
And we were denied, so like still butthurt about it.
If you have the luxury of the privilege to go up to King City and go to it's only open Sundays as well, but it's beautiful. I looked into it before I got my puppy, but they didn't have any female puppies at the time.
Yeah,
because it's just by fluke. You just got to keep looking their website all the time and kind of filter through their options.
Yeah, well, next time.
We'll get it next time.
We'll get them next time. Okay, today we are talking obviously about fall, just transitioning. I feel like fall is like that weird in between summer, which is like such a high, and then winter, which is like such a low. So fall is like that weird in betweener where I personally take it as my time to like put my head down and grind. I don't know about you.
I try and set myself up so when I get to New Year, I don't feel this overwhelming amount of anxiety there from 31st to the 1st. Like my life needs to dramatically change. I think fall is kind of that anticipation where you get up to January and you're like, okay, my goals, the foundation that I want to build for myself next year is already in place, and it's like, okay, now let me just execute it. That's what I want to take fall for, which is I think everything that we're going to cover in this podcast, which could be like maybe early things that we want to improve for next year, like early New Year resolutions.
I feel like a mindset that we both came across recently and that we're like carrying is something called entropy, where it's basically just like a universal thing, but it can definitely be like carried into the way that you act in like your day-to-day life. I feel like the basis of it comes down to the fact that you can't control anything. You're not in control even when you think you are. I think for a long time, like I felt like I had to control like my relationships and control my friendships and control my family life to feel like I had some sense of just like peace in my life.
I think also too, understanding, like adding on to what you just said, is literally the only thing that you at the end of the day, when you're tucked into bed, are in control of is what you do and how you react to things. You could sit here stressing and turn blue in the face and crying and just being so like overwhelmed with the situation in front of you, but you doing all of that is literally not going to change anything. And I think understanding that having disorder and having a little bit of what the fuck is going on moment I think for me has always led to something blissful on the other side. And just understanding that like any chaos or disorder or any like manic moment that's going on in your life, the universe genuinely will always lead you to where you need to be. Prime example, like the situation with your dog, it might not be so like, oh my god, but it didn't happen, you can't control it, you were upset, but like, let's move on, something better will come. Or another puppy that you need to rescue, or maybe the timing isn't right for you and your boyfriend, like maybe you're too busy, financials, where you live, like it, there's so many factors that can go into it. And I think really being able to master that every day in your life, however big or small the situation is in front of you, being able to be like, okay, it is what it is, like it's not in my hands anymore, I can't control it, and just being okay with that, because I think it can be a way to like regain your power and be a lot more peaceful with yourself at the end of the day, understanding that there's just things that are way out of my reach and way out of my control, and I physically, mentally, with the help of others, can't do anything about it.
I think also when you are in a period where you're putting your head down and you're being really independent and you're just trying to get your stuff done, that is opening the universe up for more chaos or bad things to happen, or just days where you just feel down because you are just more like hyper aware of what's going on in your own life. So I think taking that, and obviously I'm under the mindset that if you've been through sort of like a rough patch for like a week or two, like something good is coming. So I think taking that rough patch and looking at it as like a chance to pivot, as a chance to maybe slow down, as a chance to look for new opportunities, instead of just like sitting in it and being upset about it.
Because I think when you sit and you're just genuinely like you're sitting on the couch and you're so worked up over whatever situation you're going on, like let's say you just got fired, whatever, like I know it can be cheesy just to be like, okay, I'm gonna like let things, but maybe you got fired because you genuinely like didn't like the job and like you weren't putting your best foot forward. Okay, maybe this is time to explore other options. Like it can be a chance for you to redirect yourself naturally, and there's that saying that rejection is redirection. So
yeah, I love that saying.
It's hard. I'm not gonna sit here and say like I want no control, because I think every person wants to have a little bit of grip onto what is in front of them. But I think understanding this theory and know that it's a little bit bigger than yourself, and that the universe genuinely, it's okay to be in a mess and something better will come.
I think also like life just comes in ebbs and flows. Like you're not always on top of your shit. You're not always like peak happiness. You might feel like you're thriving for a week, and then the following week you're like in the mud. And that's kind of just how life goes, but it's how you handle those situations that show like how you grow as a person, how mature you are, how maybe like you're changing your way of thinking. There's so many benefits that can come from like negative situations.
Yeah. Someone that does a really good job of this is my mom. She is always like, I've seen her from like being a young girl to now, like so much shit that she has gone through just with friends, family, just problems, adult problems, but she is able to handle every single thing, whether it be like something good or something bad, and just like take it and be like, okay, like literally just okay, that's it, like that's life. Obviously there's stuff that she can do to like make herself feel better and set her up for success for, let's say, if it happens again, but she just handles it so well, and it's something to emulate. And obviously it's come with time. Like she's 50 years old now. Like I'm sure when she was 22 she probably wasn't so strong, but it's like a great thing to see. And like she's such a big mentor in my life, and then to see her handle things, and she always says to me like, you cannot let your feelings dictate how you act. And that's something that I struggle with so much, and just letting loose of things that I can't control.
Yeah,
I get so fixated.
I think also it relates to like the let them theory.
Yeah.
Mel Robbins talks about it all the time, where you really can only control yourself and your own actions. You can't control the outcome. You can't control how other people react. And it's so much easier said than done. But your friend doesn't want to hang out. Okay. Like, let them. Your, mom says something negative about your outfit. Okay.
Your boyfriend.
You're not
treats
wearing
you
it.
like
Like,
shit.
there's so many different things that at the end of the day, like, I think there's a balance between quote unquote protecting your peace, because I don't necessarily love that term.
Yeah,
I
I know what you
think
mean.
The balance between just letting people do what they want and protecting your peace should just come from you just wanting to live like
For
in a
yourself.
positive environment.
Yeah, for yourself.
Yeah.
So I think from transitioning from fall and having this mindset is something definitely that I like want to carry on with me into the new year. But next thing that we wanted to talk about on this week's podcast is budgeting and finances, and how this is something that we definitely want to improve on, because we stress a lot about money, especially you, like you're on your own downtown, and I can't imagine like going through that right now. So
I think we want to talk about like 3 small habits that you can just change in your daily life to like give you peace of mind or to become like a better version of yourself. And these are things that like are so easily changeable. And one of them is budgeting, because for myself, like I don't come from a family that really talks about money or that worries about money or talks about finances. It was very much like I'm going to learn it on my own type of thing. And I still have no idea what I'm doing. But just from like being around my relationship and you and like other friends and just getting like little inklings of advice from different people, I literally spent 4 hours at the bank the other day. I don't know if it was just me. I didn't know that you could just go to the bank and talk to people.
Yes.
Had no idea.
I've been telling you this. I was like, just go to the bank. She's like, what do you mean
go
to the bank?
Such a loser.
I'm like, it's a public corporation. Go to the bank.
Well, I'm putting it out there. You can do that.
Go to the bank.
So I went to the bank and I had a decent amount of money in my checkings account. And I'm like, my boyfriend would see my account. He's like, what is this doing in here? Like, this can't just be sitting in here. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, okay, so we're going to go to the bank and we're going to ask them what to do. Yeah. So I opened a savings account and I opened a TFSA.
Bomb. I know.
I did medium risk.
Not at a lower high risk, but a medium.
Yeah. Can't touch it for like 10 years, but I put a decent amount away and walked out of there, cried on my walk home. Very overwhelming, but I did it. So
I think you have to be able to like look at your bank account and just be like, okay, I'm going to tackle this situation. That's how I felt for the longest time. And I have the support of my parents that specifically my dad is so open to talking about finances. Like he mentioned to me a couple months ago and he was like, okay, we're going to open a home buying account or a first time homeowners account. I was like, huh? What is like, what do you mean? But he's so on top of it and he wants to set up my sister and I for so much financial success in the future, which is like why I talk to you about this all the time. But apart from like opening up these fancy accounts and whatever, and you can go to talk to your bank account, something that I try and do all the time when I make a purchase, first off, this is like 100% factual. I write it down.
Yeah.
Before I do. I literally did it last night. I was like, oh no, this morning. I was like, I want a new Aritzia tracksuit. I want a pair of Salomons. I don't know. I made it was like 6 or 7 things that I was kind of just like that were spewing through my mind that I wanted to buy. Make a list on it. Like I wouldn't have done this a year ago, but I will sit on it for, I don't know, 2-3 weeks or until I really want to buy it. And then I'm like, okay, do I want to buy it? Or was it just something that was trendy? I saw it online. I saved it. Am I actually going to use it? Probably not. What do I need this gown for? I live in King City. Like I don't need this red gown, Dom. Like let's tone it down. And then am I able to purchase it twice?
Yeah.
If I can purchase this item twice and it doesn't like, oh my God, make a big dent and I'm sweating, like tapping my Visa, okay, buy it. I just think there's so many, you leave your house and you spend money. And I have so many fixed expenses at the end of the month. Like I obviously don't live alone and I don't have like a big car payment or rent over my head, but I really have tried to create a big divider between my parents and I and try and be more financially independent. I help with groceries. My mom needs like, oh, can you go pick this something up for me? Normally I would have been like, okay, can you reimburse me? But now I'm like, okay, I'm 23. Like, I should be able to stand my own ground.
Yeah.
But I will say definitely writing things down and analyzing it after a couple days, or when you're not on such a high where I want to spend money, and just think about being able to purchase it twice. If you can't do those things, don't buy it.
I think also for myself, because I don't have like the liberty of living at home, so there are a lot more expenses every month. One thing that I try and keep in mind is you have your fixed expenses and you have your income. If you minus your fixed expenses, whatever is left over, you should aim to save like 20 to 30% of that. Obviously, some months you might save 100% of it, but some months you might only save 10% of it. So it's like a balance, but that amount could be really small, but as long as you saved it, that's like a win on its own. And even for myself, like I opened this TFSA and I like set up so a specific amount of money every month like comes out of my account and goes into that. So just like allotting space, I guess, for overspending, underspending, but trying to stay in like that limit has been something that I've been trying to focus on. I also keep track on like spreadsheets.
Don't you feel good
Yeah.
now that you've like taken control of your finances?
I was talking to my sister the other night and she was like, my sister's 28 and she's like in medical school and like has her shit together. And
you're like, I make silly little videos on the end.
Literally, she's like leaving after like a 24-hour shift and I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. Like I just edited 5 videos. But she was like, I was telling her how I went to the bank and did all these things and she was like, I have no idea what any of that means. And I'm like, oh, so you don't have these accounts either? And she's like, not at all. But she has like American accounts because she's in the States. But I was like teaching her about all these things and I'm like, I'm going to send you my expense tracker and you can start tracking too.
That is honestly something that has helped me so much, because you think your stupid little silly iced coffees don't add up, but then you look and you're like, I spent $35 this week on coffee. That's $145 a month, give or take, on just coffee. Just like being able to visualize how much money you're spending. And let me tell you, you don't always need that iced coffee when you're leaving the house. Like, you have a good probably espresso machine at home. Just make it at home. Just little purchases. I've noticed that I would catch myself like, oh, just a quick little snack before I leave the house. No, make a snack at home. Like,
I know.
It's just little things. But when you're able to see on paper how much useless money you're spending, it, like, my friend Bianca started doing this, and she had, shout out to Bianca, actually. She did this back in August, and it was the biggest wake-up call of her entire life. But it is so proud, like, she's so proud of where her finances are now, because she was like, okay, I have spent dumb money, like, but because when you're not checking it, you're just like tap tap tap, you pay off your Visa at the end of the month and you're like, oh, why is it at $3,000? But like, you don't really think why it's at $3,000, you just pay it off. But then she put all of her, like, literally every single expense on paper, like in a tracker, and she was like dumbfounded by how much money she was just literally throwing away. And she was like, I'm never doing that, like, I'm never doing it again. Spent 2 months, racked up all this money, saving, working, and got her Visa down, and now she's so financially aware. And I think it was getting to that point and seeing a tracker and then like implementing a plan. But I think that's a great thing. I do a tracker, like, not every month I include every single thing, but I try and get 75 to 85% of my purchases on there.
Well, if you want my tracker, shoot us a DM.
I know, I bought a tracker. Oh, and Notion. I bought a tracker on Notion. If anyone wants it, let me know. It's great. It's like very easy. It's very user friendly.
Okay, I think the second one that we feel like is a good tip comes down to sleep. Like, sleep is so important, and there's so many like factors to like sleep hygiene that I feel like me and you have been taking more seriously. I have sleep anxiety.
This to me actually doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And she'll explain in a minute, but I'm the type of person where I could fall asleep on a rock. Prime example, I slept on a 10-hour flight to Greece. Just literally just head down, like one pillow, no ear. Like, I sleep anywhere, everywhere. So for me, my nighttime, I would say my nighttime routine first, but for me, it's literally a glass of water, maybe a tea, like maybe chamomile tea, because I just like the feeling of something warm, magnesium, and I go to bed. Like, I will say that magnesium and chamomile definitely contribute to me having a very seamless sleep. But if I don't have the two of them, I can go to sleep. And I will say my screen time, like, or if I'm on my phone before bed, I need to have it on the nighttime mode, because if I'm staring at it and it's bright, I'm like that. But I will say I need minimum 7 hours.
Yeah.
Or else I don't function, or I need a nap like a baby.
No, literally same. I feel like when I was a kid, this is so dumb to say out loud. If I can't fall asleep, I am the type of person to like start to panic and be like,
that to me, like that, like I don't understand that.
Well, I start to panic and then I'm like, oh my God, like I only have 7 hours now, and then 6 hours, and then I just make it worse. But when I was a kid, I used to sleep with my mom all the time
until the ripe age of 25.
literally I'll still go home, and just the comfort of like someone else being there puts me right to bed. So then like having sleepovers with you or my boyfriend or whoever, no problem. Thought I got rid of the problem. The other night I couldn't fall asleep. No problem, no worries.
I'll just take my 7th magnesium.
Yeah, no worries. Midnight rolls around, I'm like, oh my God, like I have to be up at 7. Like I have a long day tomorrow, which is even more of a panic. 1 o'clock rolls around. Pure mental breakdown at this point.
Like you're wide awake?
It's just like an anxiety feeling that like happens. Since then, I've taken extra precautions.
I start winding down at 5 p.m.
So this is my nighttime routine. Works like a charm now. Headspace is a fabulous app. I listen to like a sleep meditation as I'm sleeping. I fall asleep to it.
Like ocean sounds?
Yeah, you know, whatever like is on the playlist that day.
I do like sleeping to ocean sounds, but I actually don't even think it helps me. I think I'm just like,
I think just when it's dead silent, I can't do it unless someone else is next to me.
I love it.
Well, and then I take my magnesium, 1 or 2, you know, depending on the mood. And
if I take 2 magnesiums, the next day I'm waking up and I'm like, like I feel like I'm gonna die. No, like I took 2 magnesiums when I was trying to fix my jet lag. I slept for like straight up 13 hours.
And then I also do sauna. I have to do a sauna every day, or just a really hard workout. I don't know why. It's like psychological, but it works like a charm. So as long as I have those things, I'm fine.
I need all 17 things to sleep or I won't. What about a weighted blanket?
I have a weighted blanket.
Like I need a dark room though.
I can sleep in broad daylight. I'm fine.
Okay, so far we've covered finances,
sleep, and then our last one was just like getting fresh air.
Oh, okay. This is a huge thing. When it's November 27th and it gets dark at 5 p.m., you must, like, that number came to mind. But I'm saying when it's just like the heart of winter and it's super cold and the weather's really shitty, you need to go outside and get fresh air. Especially the both of us work from home now and we're on our screens so much. I have a dog, so that gets me out of the house. But even you, the other day, you're like, should I go on a walk? I'm like, go on a fucking walk. Yeah. And you always feel so much better. And I think obviously it's cold out and you're like, oh, I don't want to go out or I don't want to do this. I think any form of physical movement, like you go to the gym, you do whatever. But I think going outside and getting some fresh air is 100.
Even just standing outside like for 5 minutes, just stand there. Just let that wind blow in your face. Let that
cold Toronto breeze just hit your pores. No, but I honestly think fresh air. I know it sounds stupid saying it, but going outside and just getting a little bit of Mother Nature is good for the soul.
It's definitely needed. Okay, so every week we ask an anonymous question, obviously on our stories. This week's question was, what changes do you make for yourself going into the fall? We got a ton of answers. So some of them were staying in more, waking up at 5 a.m. Yikes. I start making ginger shots and take myself to the gym to keep those dark day blues away. That's a good idea. Love will heal everything. Fair.
Okay. That was a statement.
Diving into my routine, staying strict with the gym, budgeting and investing in healthy habits, reading a lot more, It's the perfect season to grab a cozy fall themed book and light a candle. Sitting by the fireplace, making sure I'm taking my vitamins. Make sure you're taking your vitamin D. Very important.
Just go on vacation more often.
Yeah.
That's like all you need to do.
Incorporating more Pilates into my routine.
Whoever said waking up at 5 a.m., you're a beast.
I know who that was. And Rania, you're nuts.
You're fucking insane. I can do 5 a.m.s maybe in the summer, but to wake up at 5 a.m. and then not see the sun for a while and it just, you go outside and it's -10.
Yeah,
not for me.
Not for me. I'm like an 8:30 girl.
I'm like at 10:45. I'll wake up, clock out at 2.
Okay, we can dive into some of these.
I think one that really resonates with me is really diving into my routine. I think in the winter, I don't know, I always just don't feel the best in the winter, and I think having a very structured day just makes me feel really good, especially now with work. I need to have a structured day, but even just structuring my plans with my friends, structuring when I'm going to work out, pre-planning my classes, just makes me feel a little bit better, makes me feel motivated, definitely gives me an urge to get out when I don't want to.
I also love a good hot class, like a hot Pilates class, hot HIIT, hot yoga, because if it's cold outside, it's nice to like go into the warmth, and then you go outside when you're like sweating your ass off and it feels really good.
Yeah, make sure you wear a hat though, so you don't get sick. But I do think that both of us put a huge emphasis on planners and just writing things down, whether it be on whatever like web like app you use, like web browser. I personally love Notion. I do want to get like a physical planner for all of 2025.
Hint, hint.
But like I feel like I'm so scatterbrained if I don't write things down. So I think diving into a routine like all year, but I think it's specifically in the winter. If you feel like you're in a rut, that could be a good tip for you.
Yeah, I think that's really important. One of them was just making sure that you're getting into the gym. I think, especially if you work from home, I feel like people get into a habit, meaning myself, of just staying in too much. Like it'll be 3 days and I haven't left the apartment, and making sure to like spend little moments throughout the day, just leaving, going for a walk, going to the gym, being active in some way, because I feel like you turn into like
a zombie. You look like a zombie.
Also, like making sure to get ready every day, I think is really important, especially if you work from home. And then one of them was reading a lot more. I think we talked about reading in the last one, but I'm still trying to get into reading. I'm trying to be a book girl.
I know.
I'm struggling.
So my boyfriend's older brother, reads a lot, and he actually went to chapters 2 a couple days ago. He bought the 48 Laws of Power and the 48 Laws of Seduction, and we're both gonna read them. But no, they were on like, you know, when you walk into chapters and it's like top picks, whatever, author's favorites, that whole spiel. And
I always just choose one in that section.
You're like, coming home with me. But he chose 48 Laws of Power and the 48 Laws of Power, 48 Laws of Seduction. But yeah, I'm gonna read it. So we'll come back in 5 months when I finish the book. No, it'll be a little bit less.
See, those books are a little boring for me. Like I need a fun book.
You need a storyline.
I actually have a good list of books. Somebody sent me a list of their favorite books, and I'm going to read them off for anybody listening out there that needs a good book. Okay. It's a mix of thriller and romance, because that's what I specifically asked for. Mad Honey, Every Summer After, she said legit favorite book ever. Verity, I read it, fire. Happy Place, The Great Alone, The Perfect Couple, The Housemaid, also have read that, 10 out of 10, and Icebreaker. So I'm going to make my way through the list and I'll keep you updated.
Lovely.
Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. We honestly just like to ramble about whatever every week.
We hope that there's something, obviously, that we covered today that, I don't know, makes you feel a little bit better. Maybe you're struggling about your finances, you're struggling about transitioning into fall, you're struggling with your ability to be a control freak and understanding that you got to let loose sometimes, or whether you just want to listen to us talk. We really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Obviously, remember to follow us on House of Movement and our personals. We post all things podcast, life, food, workouts, everything. And we would love to just get to know the more of you on those platforms.
Yeah. And we'll be releasing more events soon. So stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. We've got some fun things coming before the end of year.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening.